we gave Dave an entire actual second to make this show possible. I am your complex and excitable storyteller, APGamingREAL. Some have described me as mysterious and eloquent. This is the second season's second episode, Ashes and Dust, of Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader, Tide of Iron, which is like Tides of Iron, but with less S's. All right, intern, we're just going to hop in here. You're going to do your...
Jumping straight to me, huh?
Yep.
All right. I am Big Spoon. You can find me over on Twitter at BigSpoon223. I'm usually in Matt Coville's chat, moderating that. And you can also find me over on AP's Discord. My week went pretty well. You know, just kind of hanging out, waiting for Mandalorian Season 2 next Friday.
Ooh, I did not know about that. That's kind of
cool. I was heartbroken yesterday because I thought it was yesterday. And found out that, no, indeed, I have to wait another week. So,
you fool, you've played yourself.
I did, yeah. So,
sorry, AP, that's like the camera order's wrong.
How does this happen?
Oh
my God!
Looks like I'm the Lord Captain now.
All right. The problem is that when we did camera order, I said James, Pondo, Spoon, Dave, but we didn't actually do that.
Oh.
So Pondo turns his camera off and so does Dave, and that will... Nope. You gotta cycle, Dave. No, you keep yours on, Pondo. No, this somehow didn't work again. All right, I'm gonna solve it manually. No one move. You just keep talking and no one move.
Holding position. Yeah, so I'm like, I loved season 1 of The Mandalorian. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so I cannot wait for season 2.
You think they'll put Dash Rendar in season 2 and somehow?
No. See, I love that game, man. Mm-hmm. I love Shadows of the Empire.
All right, how old were you when you played it? That's the real question.
You know, really young, pretty young.
So I was really, really young when I played it as well. I couldn't beat it as a child. I played it as an adult in that GOG release. It took me 2 hours to beat the entire game.
Yeah.
There is nothing in that game. Like, there's nothing there.
No, really, yeah.
I was really very surprised as an adult because that game, I struggled with that game.
Well, because so I remember the last level where you have to fly out you have to fly down the little tunnel and there's I remember that being so hard, and then going back and playing it as an adult, it's like, oh, this is really simple.
You know how long it took me as a kid to beat the first level? Like, I thought that was the whole game as a kid. Like, I thought that was it. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I'm done now. Great.
Because the very first level, like, you didn't even get to play as Dash Rendar. You played as, like, a snow speeder, whatever they call those things.
Mm-hmm.
God, that motorbike level, or the land speeder level, oh my God.
Yep. And, like, the sewers and, man...
The sewers creep me out, man. Fuck those sewers. Like, the boss in that level, I was just like, nah. But as an adult, I'm just like, this is just pathetic. What the fuck?
Yep. Well, and like, yeah, I typically don't go back and play a lot of games I played when I was younger. Like, you know, I loved Ocarina of Time. Don't go back and play that. I mean, I'm
but
sure
that one still holds up, I think.
Does it?
Like, yeah. That one's still got the girth that you remember as a kid, but like, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, they should put Dash Rendar in that show. You know when they released the Star Wars movie, the one where they like blow up, they get the secret plans for the Death Star. I forget what it was called.
Mm-hmm. Rogue One.
Rogue One. I was 100%. I thought that the Jan character was Kyle Katarn's like pilot.
Oh yeah,
from the first what was that?
Jan Ors from Jedi Knight. Dark Forces.
Yeah,
Dark Forces. Yeah, I was 100% sure that was the same character, and I thought that other dude next to her that was unnamed in all the trailers for the longest time was Kyle Katarn. I'm like, heck yeah, man, this is gonna be the best movie ever. Turns out, nope, just some dudes.
I mean, it was still pretty good.
So it's still a pretty good movie, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. So
Okay. Hondo T Mad. Mr. Mad, what do you got for us? He's muted.
He's got a muted voice.
I'm muted. Nothing much aside from muting myself and forgetting about it. Yeah, I hadn't done much since Thursday. Except for play Hell Let Loose yesterday, and that was an interesting time.
I swear at some point we'll actually have fun playing it.
yeah.
I like
Not
seeing that the.
Karen.
I like to see that the 12-year-olds that were playing Call of Duty back in the day have now grown up to play Hell Let Loose and are still the same.
Oh, you're talking about the Cheech? Yeah,
The Cheech guy.
Fuck that guy. Holy shit.
Please, can I actually change your statement a little bit there? Can we say instead of grown up, can we swap it for aged? Because I feel like there is a big difference between those two.
That is
sets of verbiage.
excellent point.
Fair enough. All right, they didn't call it Rugrats all grown up for no reason.
Oh god.
Are they still making inappropriate overtures towards your mother? Is that how it works these days?
No, it went kind of like this. I was like, all right, I need everybody to pull back. We're losing. And then a minute later, somebody starts screaming, why didn't you tell everybody to pull back? We need to pull back right now. And I was like, yeah, I told everyone to do that a minute ago. And he's
Or
like,
it was
I
like
didn't hear you. And I was like, okay, calm down. And he's like,
Or it was
fuck you. And I was like, no, fuck you. And he's like, yeah, you're aggroing me. And I was just like, oh my God.
Then later on, it was like, it was great because it was like, oh, you should send some supplies. And like, that's your job. But you could send us supplies. Then someone else joined in from the guys like, that's your job, soldier. You do that shit.
The guy was trying to tell me how to do my job as commander, and I was like, all the things you're describing, you are physically capable of doing yourself.
Yeah.
That's not my job.
It was funny to listen to, I should say the least.
Oh, I'm glad that you had some amusing times, Pondo. Because I remember when I tried to save your ass from 3 AT infantry walking up behind you, they conclaved behind your tank. I'm over here trying to spray them down. They gun me down, and you're just like, oh, I think I died. And I'm like, yeah, Pondo, I'm over here trying to save your goddamn life. You don't even know what's happening because you're stuck in a wall.
See,
Yeah.
this sounds like the first time I played that Artemis, bridge simulator game.
Oh boy, I love that
where
game.
I was playing as the helmsman, and I was only following the instructions I was given. Like I was saying what was going on, but if I wasn't told to do something, I wouldn't do it. So it's like we're flying towards a black hole, still flying towards a black hole. Nobody's told me to turn away yet, so we died when we flew into a black hole. I let them know, but no, I never actually said maybe I should turn away because I haven't been given that order.
Who knows? Maybe the science people needed to get closer to the black hole.
I was just having a good time, man. I was staying in the tank. I saw Stuart driving across the distance, trying to get behind me, and I was like, nope, I'm going to snipe you. It was great. Then I died. See, the most brutal time was probably doing the one map where it was just all city and just kept running over random landmines.
Yeah, the landmines were super annoying.
And death is very subtle. It's very instant in that game. Just suddenly click.
As
you're
it
dead.
tends to be in real life, I think. I mean, right? Like that's how that works.
No, everyone knows you go out on your deathbed with all of your grandkids there gathered. It's calm and gentle after
your
the final
visions
lunch. Yeah.
slowly becomes more and more red around the outside until you find
The various things like press F to stay alive appear, but there is no F in real life, so you just...
I was expecting like the old school Call of Duty Red Ring or the newer age sending strawberry jam on your screen.
No, you just die.
Yep.
It's even worse in a tank, because in a tank when you die, you don't know what killed you.
Yeah, I've noticed
You
that.
just explode.
like sometimes you hear like the tank shell.
That's very rare. The tank has to have been fired from a long way away.
No, it was like it was with Eric. Just suddenly there was like two separate guys with like rocket launchers. One would distract us, and the other one would be behind us to shoot us in the butt, and suddenly we were just dead. It's an interesting game. I have enjoyment, even though I don't do the best.
Oh, that's a box quote right there, if I ever heard it.
Yeah.
I have enjoyment.
Yeah. I think I do better as a sniper in that game than I do with the regular guns.
I like going sniper scout with you and being like, there's a guy over there, and you shot him, and I was like, there's a guy over there, and you shot them, and then I was like, there's a guy over there, and you're like, I'm dead. I'm like, you're dead. I start looking around, someone starts shooting at me, I'm like, he's dead. Somebody help
Let
me.
me ask you a question. Is that one of those games where they're just like, oh, there's only 2 sniper kits?
Yes, there are 2 sniper teams, and you can't become the sniper unless someone takes the support spot first. So you have to have a friend if you want to be the sniper.
Yeah.
Yep.
Someone has to play the
that's
shitty
not a
scout
bad-
commander.
Spotter.
Yeah, well,
That's not a bad idea.
they are technically a spotter, but really they're more like a point man. Spotting has almost no useful ability.
Yeah, but I mean, you still have like all the capabilities of a infantry squad leader. But
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
for
part
what
of the
that's
point of
worth.
spotting is to keep an eye out on what's happening around the sniper, who's entirely focused on.
so he doesn't get killed.
I feel like the opposite happened to me.
issue
I
with-
was entirely focused on finding targets, and Ponder died.
It's very it was an open map, so it was able to to see it's like, oh, it's those guys. They're just standing still. Let me just take a time and boom. Now it goes like, all right, you're pointing a shot. Oh, I'm dead. AP, I'm dead. I can't shoot him. I'm dead.
It was a rough day.
Let me ask you guys a question then. Did you guys play Team Fortress 2 at all when it came out?
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I had
Would
something
you-
like
would
2,000
you-
hours on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you play that game again if they re-released it in some way, shape, or form, or made a third?
No,
They've
I
recently
feel like
updated it,
I really played Team Fortress 2.
Yeah,
I
played
might,
a lot of that game.
but
But but you wouldn't go back to it because you wouldn't go back to that style of game anymore, or like?
2,000 hours is a lot of hours.
yeah.
But that game was real good though.
The game like that I sunk a lot of time into was Unreal Tournament. And Unreal Tournament that was the first game I played that had like the mode where you had 2 teams trying to get like sequential objectives. So once you got the first objective, you'd always respawn back from that point, when you're trying to like store on the beach or destroy the bunk, whatever the case may be. And like, I really enjoyed that mode. And every other game I played that mode, and I've always compared it back to how I felt when I first played it in Unreal Tournament, and never really felt it was the same.
I don't remember the name off the top of my head right now, but there was that. Was it Enemy Forces in Wolfenstein? Was that what, it was? Did you play that as well? Because that was very much like a sort of directive-based multiplayer experience with classes, as far as I can remember, as being the first one. That was really, really good, and had all that sort of shit in there. But man, I don't know. I was just thinking about this the other day. Like, if they re-release that old game, like that came out 2002?
Which one are you talking about now?
When did that
Team Fortress 2?
When did that come out? That was like in the orange box. So that was like
Like 04?
Half-Life?
Yeah.
Oh god, when was that? 04.
Maybe.
Yeah, and if
I think
they
I was in
came
high
out and had a, yeah, because they did that. They recently did the Left 4 Dead thing, or they re-released the community content, and that didn't get as big a push as what I thought it would. But if they made Team Fortress 3, I don't think it would be as popular as Team Fortress 2 would be. But I don't know.
Sorry, TF2 was 07, October 07.
07, yeah. For some reason, I was thinking it was 08. Maybe that's when I started playing it. But yeah, I don't know.
Just so you know, I almost exclusively played either heavy or engineer in that game.
I played heavy and sniper a lot.
Oh, of course you played sniper. Of course you played sniper.
Why? Because I'm
bet
Australian? Fuck you.
No, I bet you were
Fuck
a
you.
piss-jarring motherfucker.
I was a piss jar and a
Yeah,
a
I knew
Girardi
it.
and
It
a
wasn't because
machete
he's
kinda guy.
Australian, Dave. I didn't go there because of that. I knew it was the fucking piss jar. That's right up your alley.
Actually, no. It was the charged sniper rifle that got me. That one was my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Man, countless hours playing that fucking game, just sniping, just constantly sniping everyone.
So, can I tell you a quick Unreal story since it was mentioned also in chat? Was that back in late '97, so like December '97, I was working for a IT company, and they sponsored an event in Sydney, which was called GibCon, which was an attempt to break the then Guinness World Record for the largest LAN game at one time, using Quake as the engine for it. And it was sponsored by like a brand called Jolt Cola as well, which was like a predecessor to Mother energy drink, So they gave us a shitload of this stuff, and it was like a 24-hour LAN party for 4 days straight. And my company's contribution was we donated a high-spec gaming computer, as much as you could be high-spec gaming computer in the 90s. And so I got to go along to the tournament.
27 RAM, 27 megabytes of RAM.
It was definitely a Pentium something. It's like a
I was
Pentium
gonna say, it's a Pentium 2 processor. Double clock speed, bitch. It's 120 hertz.
I remember buying a Pentium 3, man. Like,
but I didn't play in the LAN party thing, because the one thing that I hadn't learned at that point in time was how to use a mouse to play first person shooters. I was used to just using the keyboard from like playing Doom, which didn't have, the ability to look up and down. Even in the old Duke Nukem 3D, you'd use a page up, page down to look up and down in steps rather than using the mouse to mouse look. And at the same time we donated the computer, we got a pre-release copy of Unreal to put onto the computer to make as part of the first prize. And so I sat there during this tournament on the prize computer playing Unreal, like 3 months before it even, came out in stores. And I used that time to teach myself how to play with a mouse in a first-person shooter. So that was me sitting there while everyone watched me play, like hopelessly play this game with watching to learn the mouse look at this big tournament in Sydney. There you go.
I think I learned how to do it either on Half-Life 1 or on a game called AVP 1. I think maybe is what I learned on. But man, holy shit. I think I don't remember struggling with it. I think there wasn't any like jump for me between old games and the mouse and keyboard. I think I got that pretty quickly, but god damn. Do they still have V in Australia? Is that still around? Oh, good. Okay. Just wondering. I haven't seen it anywhere else in the world. Like, haven't seen it anywhere else.
What is V?
It's not an energy drink. It's like Red Bull or Mother, that sort of stuff. Yeah. So it's just guarana in fluid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm just reminiscing about video games. I don't know. I'm feeling nostalgic tonight. So.
Did we do your intro yet, Dave?
No. Okay, so my intro is gonna get a little political. I think not American political, but so in Poland on Friday afternoon, the government removed abortions, saying that they were unconstitutional. So it is now illegal for women to have abortions in all of Poland. This also includes like birth defects and stuff like that. So if you go to a doctor and you're pregnant and the doctor says, hey, look, there's a good chance that this baby will come out with one eye and missing half its brain or something like that. In a lot of cases, like I think there's like maybe just over 1,000 abortions a year in Poland for birth defects or whatever, right? So now it is considered murder in Poland if that sort of stuff happens. They've also trying to push a bill right now that says that if a doctor notices that a fetus inside of a pregnant woman is in fact going to have some sort of birth defect that they are going to be legally obligated to not inform the parents about that birth defect. So Poland's fucked, yo. Poland has some fucking real shitty government in power right now.
That's
to the
rough,
point
dude.
where, like, yeah, no, it's like just imagine, right? And they also said, oh, you know, if you get pregnant because of rape, then it's fine. But due to the due process, that it normally takes longer than the period it takes to abort a fetus, right? So like in a lot of cases, like they said that's fine because there's never been any recorded cases of like due process happening fast enough to allow the woman to abort whatever child is.
Yeah, that's the classic. You can have an abortion, but there's a 9-month waiting list for it.
Exactly, right? Like it's awful. So right now Poland is in the midst of the, you know, the thing that's happening everywhere, right? Where we have like 18,000 cases a day. But still, despite that, last 2 days, roughly about 20,000 people in Warsaw, and then every other major city around Poland as well, and even the minor cities has had people protesting government buildings and in an attempt to try and circumvent this stuff. So I just wanted to inform everyone about what's happening, in case anyone has any sort of, you know, wants to do any sort of research, whatever, into that project. So that's the thing that's happening right now. It's real shitty. And it makes it really difficult to want to start families inside of Poland, which is something that we were considering doing fairly soon. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about. So that's my intro. Sorry for bringing the mood down, but I figured why not talk about it. So
Yeah, I mean, it's important because, you know, not a lot of United States people get news from abroad. So
right, yeah, it's real fucking shitty. Like, and like my guess is that they're using this as a way to like bring in other things that they want to try and get through the government. Because here's the thing, like in most governments, the people elect who's going to be their representative in parliament. But in Poland, they just decided like 3 years ago that they can just change the elected people in parliament however they want. So whenever they pass a bill in Poland, it's because the guy in power, who's not a political member, he's just an old man, says that he wants this through, and then all the people that he's put into the parliament, because he can do that for whatever reason, the parliament can just vote and say like, okay, that guy that the people voted in, get him out, or we're going to replace him with this dude. And the same thing happens with judges, the same thing happens with all that sort of shit. So all the
you're voting for a party, not a person. So
yeah, so all the due process that goes through in Poland right now is all favored to one party. So whenever they want to get something through, they just push it through and it happens because there's no one there to, you know, counter it. And if there is people there to counter it, they normally come up with some way to like put blackmail on them or arrest them for whatever reason. So there's no democracy here in Poland. It really sucks. So
hasn't the president just gotten coronavirus as well?
Yep. And you know, he's just he says a huge piece of shit. So whatever. I'm not concerned for that man's well-being. That's for sure. So yeah.
But
anyway, that's
James.
Hey,
You got something to
I don't have anything dour or negative to say.
I'm
You know,
sorry, guys. I'm very sorry.
Life is my oyster. Everything's trucking along well. I got my 40K shirts from the official Warhammer merch store this week. Although I think that they've come somewhere out of some third world country in Europe because they all came smelling of cigarette smoke, and I think they were postmarked through Argentina. So not through Argentina, sorry, Amsterdam, through Amsterdam. So
I came smelling of cigarette smoke. And
yeah, that's right. Yeah, I can just imagine some sweatshop with kids screen printing these shirts, while
Yeah.
a smoking Eastern Bloc guy watches them. So yeah, they were washed before I've actually worn them. Other than that, just obviously playing in Arthur's games this week. I don't want to ask Arthur, and we don't want to take too long to get to my game, but 2 days along, how are you feeling post BattleTech? Have you come to terms with everything now?
Listen, I knew about it before you did, James. I've been dealing with it for months, right? So I feel like the worst time
but it's real now.
No, it was real back then. It was real when I sat down with the cast and they were like, I think we're done. And I was like, So if you want to know how I felt, go like 3 or 4 months back. That's when it was real for me. Now I'm just kind of tired.
You sound kind of tired. But
thank you. I appreciate that.
You're up for the game though today. You're up for being Nero.
Listen,
in all his
if
extremes?
I wasn't, I wouldn't be here.
No worries. No, that's it. I mean, I got much else to say really. It's been a week.
Well, thank you for your 21-month sub.
No, I got an
Twitch.
emote apparently.
That's great. At some point I should probably actually fill my channel emotes list, but I'm totally indecisive. I don't know what people would want as an emote.
I don't know how to do emotes in other than a smiley face.
Your channel's known for D&D stuff, so just add some D&D shit, or like
You're
not
known
D&D,
for
but
D&D
like tabletop
shit.
Oh, I mean, like, think about it. Like, what about if you had like a master's hand over like a D20 or something like that? Something people can use when cool things happen in the stream, shit like that.
When you said Master's Hand, I mean, I thought of Smash Brothers because
I knew. Yeah.
Because I just spent recently a whole bunch of time just trying to beat the campaign to get it over with.
I don't know why you did that.
You gotta love game when you're playing games as a chore.
Yeah, like
I never really did any of like
any MMO ever.
Yeah, or like
any MMO that's not Final Fantasy 14.
Like achievement hunting. Like I never really did any of that stuff. Like
that's my yeah.
I literally just watched a video documentary about a man who got to level 99 in Final Fantasy whatever the one with Cloud in
7
in the first reactor.
Wow.
Like the old.
You're right. That is like pointless.
It took him 530 hours.
Jesus.
Of just straight grinding.
I'm thinking of the South Park episode where they've got to kill boars to level up in World of Warcraft.
Now look. In the original Final Fantasy VII, in the train graveyard, I had unlocked everybody's second level limit breaks, and I felt like that was great. But I used that to abuse the game and just completely, like, I was good for the rest of the first disc.
Fuck the train graveyard.
Let me tell you about Final Fantasy XI Chains of Promathia expansion. Hopefully someone will be able to confirm that this is true. My recollection of it was, when it came out, you had to farm the areas before boss fights that were like 2-hour-long travels to the boss. You had to farm them for hours and hours and hours on end to get special drops that were necessary in order to beat the boss. And so when you got a pug together, you were basically committing to like 6 or 7 hours of being together. Or you had to ask somebody like, oh, do you have at least one of the drop that we'll need in order to force the boss to get stunned or this or that or the next thing. Pugging your way through Promathia was so shitty. People would lie about it. You would have a whole party of people that were all like, yeah, I have the drop. And then we get there and someone would be like, yeah, I don't actually have it. And everyone would be like, I don't have it. So I would just be like, okay, so no one has it, even though all of you swore a blood oath. So now we've just wasted 2 hours of our life. It's fucking 8 o'clock at night. We're here and no one has it. So now we're
MMOs
done.
were a mistake, man. Like,
Promathia was amazing story-wise, but the mechanics were awful. Someone actually died doing the last raid of Promathia because no one actually realized how the boss mechanics work, and they got in a 40-hour fight, and a guy just dehydrated himself to death.
And his
fighting the
ghost
boss.
still haunts the video game.
Which is
So
why no one plays it anymore.
this is the best part. Let me tell you what the boss mechanic, the secret boss mechanic was. Whenever someone used their secret 2-hour ability, the boss would mirror it and use their they would use the same 2-hour ability. So anytime the party got low, the raid got low, and somebody popped the healer 2-hour, the boss would full heal. And no one realized it because there were no health bars.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah. Yeah. Jesus.
Wait, why did they make that?
No one knows.
So how do you?
They had to
circumvent
change the
that?
fight eventually. The developers were like, I don't know. No one's actually beaten the expansion, and it's been months. I guess it's time to just change the mechanics.
Yeah, a couple people died during that fight, didn't they? Because it just kept on going on and on and on.
Yeah.
Like, actually died.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
That was the start of this conversation. A person actually died beating Chains of Prometheia.
Yeah.
Or should I say not
Was
beating?
it worth it?
No.
Well, they didn't beat it, so no.
I wonder if someone just fucked up and they just then found out. It's like, oh.
Chains of Prometheia was so weird because it changed the whole storyline. It was like, all right, well, the world that you live in is actually a dream of people who are suffering under a fascist government. So all of you are actually dreams of real people, and your world is a dream, and we're from the actual world, and we've come to steal all your dream stuff. And I was like, oh, but everything's shit here too, so it must be really bad over there. And they're like, yeah, well, if you want to stop us, you're gonna have to go over there. And I'm like, oh, I don't really want to go over there if it's so much worse. It's pretty bad over here, man. We got a dude called the Shadow Lord.
I don't know. That sounds like a pretty cool story to me. It's Japan in a nutshell, right? So.
Oh, don't even talk to me about Japan in a nutshell. Some dude shows up who's like, my name is Tenzin. I'm the immortal Phoenix Soul Samurai. I was like, all right, come on, Japan. Calm down.
So far, you're making sense.
James, you got anything else?
It's all checking out.
Arthur, are you excited for that new Final Fantasy, the Edge mode Final Fantasy that's coming out?
What?
The one they just announced?
What?
The new one, where it's all like, I'm gonna kill the king and I have a phoenix and all that shit.
Oh, you mean 16?
Yeah.
I'm not excited, but I'm not excited. I want to see more.
Well, it's less boy bandy, which I'm all for.
No, I'm the opposite. I love 15. I thought 15 was excellent and amazing.
No, we've talked at length about this, Arthur, but your taste is just garbage, my dude.
You could say that, but I'm over here sipping on some pumpkin spice, so you know, I think we know who's the real winner in this conversation.
Not the latte. Arthur just mixes salt and other things.
No, I just like milk. Pumpkin spice, the flavor of it. I don't know why everyone assumed I drank pumpkin spice coffee.
Man.
My daughter just came in to get the iPad, and I passed her on my shoulder and whacked her in the head with it. So
wow,
that child abuse is on stream.
Yeah, she's back.
Like,
you want to hit her again, maybe?
kids like getting like not like injured, but like where they like trip and fall or something. Gifts of that are just hilarious to me.
Wow, you like watching children get injured. That's a bold stance.
I mean,
you're aware that this is being recorded forever, right?
I said not injured, where they don't get injured.
Just so you know.
You grew up on funny home videos as well, huh?
I did, yes, I did.
Because James is in Australia.
I have several of my own.
Because James is in Australia, this is being run through satellite internet, which means that this is being broadcast into space in every direction forever. So one day aliens will know that you.
That's not how the internet works.
What? No, that's exactly how the internet works.
It's going through transatlantic cable.
It can't be a transatlantic cable if it's going to the Pacific.
Well, I mean, what I mean is it's underwater cable. It's
all
not,
right,
it's
I'll
not,
buy that. Is there really a trans-Pacific cable to Australia?
Yeah, we don't get any of the none of the internet uses satellite. It's all yeah.
So
you literally have the largest satellite farm in the entire world on your island.
This is how bad the internet is, right? We get it from one pipe, and then it goes to one dude's house, and then from one dude's house it splits out. That dude at the start, he gets the best internet, but then everyone else, it's like a tree, man.
Oh, it's gotta suck whenever he's on Napster.
Full gig. And then everybody else gets what's left over.
He eats first, and then we get the scraps. Like that's how it works in Australia. Like they have this great invention. It's called internet to the home, and it's where when you build a new house, you get all the internet piped to yourself. But if you live in an old building or with other people, it's internet to the building. Then everyone shares that shitty ADSL2 connection. It's insane.
ADSL? No,
Yes.
no, my friend. What's it like living without fiber optics? I just...
They wanted to upgrade major metropolitan cities, and that was a big thing when I was in Australia. Like the Kevin Rudd government was like, yes, we will do this. And then...
Yeah, so not to be political, but yeah, what he's saying is that ages ago, one of the governments here, the Liberal government basically, or so the Liberals as opposed to because our party called the Liberal Party are the Conservatives, but the Liberal-leaning party here said that they would install fibre in everybody's home, fibre directly to your home. And they started doing that, and then they lost power, and the Conservative Party came in and said, no, we're going to do fibre to a node in the street, and we're going to use existing copper cabling to go the last mile, or we're going to substitute with other technologies like hybrid technologies or satellite in some areas. And the end result was that when they'd originally promised everyone would get 1 gigabyte, everyone's actually getting a maximum of like 110 megabytes.
And I do remember when they were doing that, and there were some residential areas, new areas in Melbourne that had fiber to the home. And then people like, I'm buying a house there now
if your house happens to have the fiber to the home, it's actually it adds a lot to your property value. And they have this thing called the Technology Choice Program, where if your house only gets like the copper extension, you can say, hey, could I please get a quote to have fiber added? Now, getting the quote, just the quote, whether you go ahead or not, costs $1,500. And I thought about it because if you get the quote, you can take the $1,500 off the install cost. But I looked into what the average install cost was. $40K was the average install cost if you go ahead with having your house added to fiber. But now what's happened is with the coronavirus, everyone's working from home, and the still in power Conservative government has said, wow, we really didn't think this out very much. So now we're going to go back to everybody gets fiber plan, but it's going to take us another 15 years.
Good. By the time that I'm ready to come back to Australia, there might be an industry I can work in over there.
I was going to say, in 15 years, the Xbox 7 will probably be using all of the data, all of the fiber optic just for one of them to download the entire knowledge of humans or one Xbox game in 8 hours.
In reality, wireless is replacing fiber now anyway. Like you can get 60 gigabyte wireless links now, so...
I don't know. They destroyed all those 5G towers when the corona came in, right?
Please, no, God. It's been months since I've had to hear about that specific conspiracy. What was that shit called? Plandemic? Oh, fuck.
Oh boy. Wait, they had a name for it?
God, God. That was like almost 6 solid months ago, bros.
I need to check the internet historian to see if there's any more news on this stuff.
James, you got anything else?
No, that's it.
My motivation just dropped to like right below the fuel. The fuel light is on. The needle is just hovering.
The light's blinking now. Is it?
Yeah. Wow, this is a 39-minute intro, guys. We fucked up real bad.
Oh, it's just like the old BattleTech intros. What are you talking about?
Oh God, calling them the old BattleTech intros, Pondo. Don't you think that's a little too soon? Or too late? I don't know.
Arthur, this is actually one of our shorter intros, right? Because I looked over at the time and it wasn't exactly 3 a.m. yet.
No. We started 5 minutes before the hour.
We started 5 minutes after the hour.
Normally we
started. I hit start streaming 5 minutes before the hour, which means we started almost 20 minutes early.
Okay.
Yeah, Radosaurus is somewhere rolling in his grave. Actually, though, did anyone see the image that Rad posted then deleted on the Discord page right before the show started?
Yes.
I saw that. Yeah.
No, I
What
didn't.
was it?
So now I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about.
He posted it in the BattleTech chat saying he was going to what was like a formal or like he was dressed in like a monocle.
Oh, it's fancy D&D.
Oh,
yeah, I
yeah.
saw that.
D&D,
Yeah, I
that's
saw
right.
the
Yeah.
dance in D&D.
Yeah. But then he deleted it straight away. So
No, it's still there.
No, it's still there.
was it? I thought it disappeared.
No, it's there.
Ah, that copper to the home is screwing up your Discord.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, I was just saying, I got some serious Russell Crowe vibes from that photo that he posted.
James,
I was
walk
about
us
to
into
say
the
he
game
kind
when
of
you're
has a
ready.
spooty beard. He kind of has a spooty beard. I'll say that much. Like,
All right. Previously on Rogue Trader, Tide of Iron, we see the senior crew greet Dominique Armelin and Adrian Thorne aboard the Hand of Calixis. The crew dines with Queen Lacrima of Sephirus Secundus before Nero is led away by a couple of famuli. The Hand of Calixis and the Eternal Praetorian emerge from the warp into the Iacanthos system. We see a Chimera transport emblazoned with the Calcisinia slide sideways through the gates of the Abbey of the Dawn. And finally, the group watches as a warp-wrought painting transforms before their eyes to show Pierre Cowles' image. Thought for the day: facts are chains that bind perception and fetter truth. So, I believe when we last left off, there'd been a bit of an info dump, but
Just a little.
the current plan was that Dawn was getting set fire to that night, and then you might be going to a derelict cathedral in the morning. Is that roughly my recollection correct?
I believe
I know
our
at
new
some
plan
point-
is to head back to Port Suffering, buy equipment, and then go to a Stone Hollow or whatever it's called.
Stern Hope was the
Stone
name
Hope.
of the
There we go.
Stern Hope. ST
Stern
might be
Hope.
back within
That is
the
not
back
what I
of the
wrote
book.
in my notes, but let's assume that I got it correct.
No worries. So the question is, are you staying that night so that Dawn can be set fire to, or are you going back to town first?
I forgot about that.
I don't have any objections.
Yeah, I think we,
Yeah, I'm staying. I know Pierre's staying. Yeah.
You were cordially invited, if I recall, to attend the skin burning ceremony.
Pierre doesn't really want to see that, but he figures that it'd be good for team morale. He would be present.
Yeah,
Nero's-
look, dearest Lord Captain, please venture your eyeballs in my direction as I remove cartilage and flesh from myself. P.S. It's religion, and you're required by the Lord Emperor's grace to attend.
You can record it and live stream it on the ship as well. So
Wow, no. We're
Sorry,
trying to
ships.
raise morale, not drop it. Nero is going to use this opportunity to spread a networking with some of the Hospitallers. Just in case we ever return and the Lord Captain isn't following him around.
all right, is this actual networking, or are we talking a euphemism here?
Listen,
In 9 months, I'll
there
be
are
free
many
to spread
reasons
my
to
seed.
open
In
doors,
9 months, I'll be
Grimdark
free
James.
to spread my seed.
Okay? If you want that door to open, you have to have a initial relationship, and that's what, he's a baron now. He might need future knowledge-y stuff.
So the Hospitallers or the family?
Listen, Nero is everybody. Okay? Target-rich environment.
Excuse me. Hi. I'm interested in building a harem in the nearest future.
No.
Say about 9 to 10
Long-term
months from now.
relationships.
have you heard? I'm a baron now.
Networking, contacts, information. Now, this is, I
I
want to be
might
very
be a
clear.
baron, but
It's
I'm
being done
anything
Nero
but
style,
baron,
which means it's
okay?
being horribly mishandled, but it is happening. James,
Okay,
please
so-
tell us what this burning looks like.
So just quickly, while you are doing that, Nero, as well, you do get at some point somebody passes you an invitation to meet with Sister Superior Samara of the Order of the Shining Path, who you understand is probably Miriam's boss.
Is this to me personally or to all of us?
It's to you personally.
Oh, shit. Man, Miriam's a real motherfucker. Every single time I get in trouble. All right, it's for after the ceremony?
After the ceremony, yes.
All right. I'll deal with that after the ceremony then. Let's talk about the ceremony.
What's Miriam
Lord
doing?
Nero, I hear you've been teasing and making the life hard for Miriam. Do you want to explain to me why you've been doing this?
No, I'd prefer to leave.
So the cleansing ritual is done that evening under the sunset, effectively. So they rather than doing it in a cathedral, they do it in an open area where effectively there's pews placed out. A lot of the sisters gather, and there's like a dais upon which Legatine Echo presides, along with a couple of other sisters of her order, and you can see like a lot of the sisters of that particular order bear clear burn scars. A lot of them have lost their hair, where like the scarring on their head has prevented their hair from growing back, or on their arms. They all have the look of they've been burned many times but survived each time. And like with the ritual version on the ship, a large cauldron filled with like a sweet smelling oil is brought out and blessed by the sisters present, who then begin to daub it onto to Sister Dawn, who's probably just in like Hessian robes. Or something like that. Yeah.
It's probably like just like I imagine as little as possible. So I would like to imagine that it would be like, just the like, like a bikini essentially, but not a bikini, but like robes sort of thing, like tape. Yep. No, bandages is what I'm thinking is mostly what it would be.
Lila
like
Dallas multipass.
Exactly, Lila Dallas multipass. You got it. Okay.
Yeah. So Legatine Echo sort of speaks to the gathered people there. Once again, her voice is hoarse from past burned cochlea in her lungs. We gather here today to witness the cleansing of our sister Dawn, and she has traveled beyond these walls to discover that which the God Emperor has set before her. We do not ask our sister to preach her sins, for these are between her and the God Emperor. We simply ask that she accept the cleansing flames and allow the Emperor's light to wash over her. As always, should she survive, it is evidence of the God Emperor's grace, and she may walk truly among her friends and followers as a beacon of his light. And she holds up like a torch, like a handheld torch. And so effectively, like the oil that they've daubed on Dawn is gathered at her feet, so she sort of lights the oil from beneath. Now you got to remember as well, this oil is designed to be something that burns. It's like citronella. It burns quite quickly. Which means that you're not talking about the person completely engulfed in a conflagration of flames, unless something on their body actually, like their hair actually catches, or something else actually like starts to properly burn. So normally when you've seen this, the people that survive, they don't cry out. The flames pass within seconds as the oil is burned off. They'll get, obviously their skin still heats up, so they'll get like surface burns, but it's not actually like blackened flesh. It's more like really, really bad sunburn or a chemical burn, that sort of thing. So Dawn, why don't you give me a plus 20 willpower roll, just straight willpower.
You've burned herself before, I see.
Sorry?
So she's burned herself before. She knows how to get through this.
Yeah. Do you want to yell to do it better from the audience, Pondo?
I don't know how you can tell someone burned better.
I think I'll re-roll that, James. I don't know.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'm happy for you to roll it.
And
one of those
negative
instances where I don't think it makes sense is don't burn as much.
Am I able to redo it again or not really?
No, only one re-roll. So, I mean, you do survive because you take it translates to 3 points of damage. You take 3 points of damage from the protag. It's like something on your flesh actually does burn and injure as such. It's not a severe wound, certainly, but it does burn a bit. As you're like well, you're standing in the middle of the flame, so obviously like the flames steal your breath as you can't breathe the oxygen from the air, and you see like the vision of the flames in front of your eyes twisting and contorting. You start to experience shapes in the flames. So it like as the flames rise, you see like a towered, tiered city. So like multiple tiers coming up, like almost like a hive, with barbed towers extending towards the sky. From this, you sort of see two trails of firelight emerge, and it's almost like your vision in the firelight zooms in, and you can see two figures, one held aloft by almost like flames from a rocket or from a jetpack, the other lifted by wings of fire, ascending out of this city towards the sky above. And it, like as you sort of try to experience more of the vision, that's when like the pain actually starts to come. And I know that Dawn is all about keeping quiet in the pain, but you really, it takes all of your attention away to sort of grit through the pain. Those of you that are watching, everybody give me not Dawn, the rest of you give me an awareness check at -10.
It's bad enough that we have to make the awareness check, but you have to add a minus to it.
Yeah.
We're not going to fail in the first part. Or not going to pass in the first part, I should say.
Is there so do I just click the roll and then it'll prompt me for a modifier?
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, that's right.
And
if I ever give you a plus, don't type the plus. Just put it in as. If I give you a minus, type minus the number. Yeah.
Okay.
That's not with. So that's actually.
Wow, boys.
Right.
Mine's with 2 degrees of failure. I forgot to add the minus.
So the -10 is because there's this is an audio based clue, but around you there's lots of chanting going on and people beating drums, as part of it. So you think, Pondo, you think you hear someone shouting in the distance, and then suddenly it's like night rapidly falls, as your vision sort of fades to grey and black almost instantly, and it takes you a moment to realize what's going on. But effectively, you've just been hit by a wall of dust, imagine a dust storm coming through, and it just tips over the wall of the abbey and sweeps through. You get this choking sensation in your mouth as all you can breathe. You realize it's not dust; it's actually ash, like black ash. And you can just make out the pinpricks of firelight, even though the fires are being smothered by the amount of ash in the air. For you, Dawn, you're at the point where you're starting to wonder whether or not this, is this my time, because this fire is actually catching when this wall of ash just smothers you in the flames, eliminating almost all the oxygen so that the flame gutters out quickly. So yeah, it's hard to hear over the sound of this storm, but you can hear panic voices, people running for cover, people trying to get torches going, actual handheld lamps rather than fire torches, so they can actually guide people with lights. I would like everybody to make a +10 survival check.
This is a role I've never even seen before. Survival. Do I even have that?
I don't have that skill.
I'm not. It's a basic skill. It's not a basic. If it's an advanced skill, then I'll just take a -10 toughness test.
I'm pretty tough.
I'm not very. Well, I'm pretty tough, but -10 is rough.
Yeah. Okay.
Oof. Look at that.
All right. So, Pondo and Spoon, you both take D5 levels of fatigue. So, Pondo, you take 3 levels of fatigue. Spoon, you take 2 levels of fatigue. As probably Nero and Dawn help find you and manage you into shelter.
Nero's gonna grab the Lord Commodore and drag him outside and stuff him inside the Chimera, which I assume is sealed against atmosphere, or at least this.
Yep, that's fine. But the Chimera is not. It's not parked right next to this ritual.
Right,
area.
I understand it's gonna take a while to get there, but I don't know these fucking people or what the hell they've done or what's going on. We're getting into the thing that can get us away from here in case of emergency. So, yeah, I got one hand clamped over his mouth so he doesn't breathe any shit in, and I'm just dragging him along.
Okay, no worries. That's fine. It probably prolongs the discomfort, but so I'll assume that you're dragging the Lord Commodore, and Dawn, would you? So you can probably get to Thorn. Would you take him back to the Chimera or into the nearest building?
I'm probably shouting over my micro bead. I'm just like, is everyone okay? Oh, wait, that's not the Nero voice. Is everyone okay? I don't know what my voice sounds like anymore. I'm having a barren situation. I think I'm getting closer to it. I'm taking the Lord Commodore to the Chimera.
Again, I am basically in the nude, so I do not have any of that shit with me.
So somewhere in a room nearby, Dawn's belongings are folded up neatly on a table, and a microbead is buzzing away with Nero's voice.
Well,
Dawn, do you have a micro bead? I don't think we have it checked.
I believe I do, but there's probably just like a bunch of like coughing and hacking and.
Find Dawn and get her to safety. Or at the very least, get her a sword.
I would have probably pushed him where all the other sisters went.
Okay, no worries. So you basically moving to one of the Abbey buildings. So anyway, in the space of a couple of minutes, everybody is to safety. Although even in the Chimera, you can hear the sandblaster sound of the ash striking the side of the Chimera. You get the impression. I should point out, Dawn, by the way, you know, because you've lived here before, these ash storms are, I wouldn't say common, but they're not unknown on the planet. They do get ash storms from time to time. This is a particularly bad one.
Is it normally a prelude to something worse coming, or not really?
No, this is about like something this bad is probably as bad as it gets. This is like a really bad thunderstorm equivalent, just with ash.
Right. Yeah,
and,
I get you.
Yeah, I mean the local population, being quite tribal, do tend to consider these ash storms to be bad omens. But I mean, there's that's some ancient religion.
I see why they call port suffering.
That's why it's got really, really, really tall walls as well.
Ah, the smart bastards.
So, if I have an opportunity and Adrian's fine, I'm gonna go talk to Sister Echo if she's in here, and ask her if what her feelings on the the cleansing, and whether or not it was considered completed, or whether or not it was like where does she lie with that?
Okay, so you go to speak to her. So anyway, you find out. So what do you ask her first off? Well, she looks at you and says, "Sister Dawn, are you all right?"
Well, I'm not sure if I. It's hard to say. I've felt at times that I might have lost myself in the cleansing, but I wanted to seek your guidance on whether or not this ash storm is considered to be the end of the ritual, or was the ritual disturbed because of it? I need guidance at this point.
How did you feel in the ritual before this began? How did you feel?
I was confident before the ritual began, but during the ritual I felt myself slipping, if that's the term. The flames, I felt I would have lost myself to them. I saw things that I never saw in the other rituals that I took place in, and I'm not sure if that was hysteria or a sign of the end. I'm not entirely sure.
Perhaps there is something in you that still needs to be expunged, but the God Emperor still has a plan for you. Perhaps this storm was the only way to save you from the fires to which you submit yourself. Perhaps the only way to cleanse this is to find and resolve that purpose.
So Dawn nods. So just so I'm caught up here, James, you said that there was two two beings.
Two figures rising out of a spired city. One on one on jets of flame, one on wings of flame.
Mm-hmm. Have I met anyone who would be considered a phoenix or anything like that? Or run into anyone that refers to themselves in that such a way?
I mean, the only thing that you could probably relate it back to is the fact that from what you were told by the sisters that studied it before, this Talon Balewing, the particular faction that he represents are known for using jump packs that look like wings. They're called swooping hawks.
Mm-hmm.
So
I figured it was something to do with him. And you said that last episode, just remind me real quick, I was given a data slate with information about him.
No, you were
right?
you were told that there was a sister here, on the dialogue, a sister Vittoria, who would be happy to help you study anything further. She had access to all the information relating to what. So effectively, they'd sent you basic information, but you haven't yet spoken with Sister Vittoria.
Okay, right. I will do that. Great, thank you.
All right, so probably while you're in the Chimera, Nero and Pierre, someone does radio the Chimera to say, is anybody in there?
Yeah.
Is the Lord Commodore safe?
We're good.
Yes, I am safe.
It's the ash storm should pass soon. Do you need any assistance?
No, we're going to go radio silent.
Copy that.
I'm going to take my microbead out and gesture for the Lord Commodore to do the same.
Yeah, he'll take his out.
All right, so Nero puts them in an ammo canister, and then all you can hear, I suppose, is the ash storm outside. Lord Commodore, I suppose this is about as private a location as we're going to get anytime soon. I don't think anyone can listen in on the conversation we're about to have.
Go on.
When we were meeting with Inquisitor Cassius Schrain, he told us the location of the Tyrantine Cabal. It was a brief statement in passing, but he did mention that they had a wasp fortress on the moon of Scintilla.
And?
I have been training in the arts of concealing things, from objects to starships. I believe that with Thorn on our side, if he is a steady pilot, we may be able to bring the ship close to the Watch Fortress to investigate it. We could send a team in. He was certainly wealthy enough to hire a small detachment of infiltrators, or we could even make it an official visit. At the very least, this is an option to confront your enemies. One, again, I would not suggest you take, but they are options that are on the table. We know where they live. For them, they have to find us. You, specifically, really. I don't think they know who the rest of us are, or care.
You're speaking of the Eldar that attacked the one rogue trader, correct?
No, I'm talking about the Tyrantine Cabal, the people who set into motion your birth. As a Harlock. They are an inquisitorial faction.
Ah, yes.
They hunt the Tyrant Star, which is a sign of ill content. When it appears in the sky, shit gets real for whatever system it is at.
Yes, just sorry,
Yes, the
I
dust
suppose
storm.
it sucked up more ash than I thought. I now recall.
Yes, I know. It's almost been like a week since we've talked about this. Or
It
it feels like it's been a week.
It does feel like it's been a week, though it's just the day.
You know how it is in 40,000 2020.
To be honest, I'm not sure how to handle the situation. I would like to meet them myself, but of course, What good would that do? And what is this plan on having us bring the ship close to the station to?
Well, I don't know about it exactly, but my knowledge of that moon is that it's totally abandoned, so it must be a hidden watch fortress. I assume that when we approach, its location might be somewhat more obvious. Ships aren't allowed to approach that particular moon. It's off limits. So when we approach, we will need to do it stealthily, but when we arrive, I assume our destination will be visible. We could drop in, scout them out, or even give them a more visceral visit.
That may be an option. I would like to see if we can get a audience with them first, if possible. I doubt it, though. As see if we can. Even if they don't answer, then we'll give them a surprise.
I don't know that we can trust everything that we heard from our latest inquisitorial dance partner. But it sounds as if these people want you. Maybe they might not let you go once they have you.
Indeed.
The other thing I found in my time in the Imperial Guard is that if something is questionable, it is better to ask forgiveness than permission. It may be better to just show up and ask for a meeting than to try to arrange one.
Very well.
If
I'll put some
only,
thought into that.
Lord Commodore, because your authority is equivalent or superior to theirs.
I don't know about superior, but equivalent maybe at best.
Well, certainly they are not icons in the Identite faith like you are.
I think Pierre just gives a motion of almost remembrance of like the slight realization that I guess that is true, as though he probably still doesn't really believe it himself. Not 100%.
Yes, but Nero believes it. He's literally seen you tell people to do stuff, and they do it better, which is something only the Emperor can do.
I do think that is funny. That it does tend to work. Very well. I'll put thought into it, and then I'll come to a plan of attack for said situation.
I should caution you again, Lord Commodore, that these people are dangerous. They arranged for you to be created, and now they are trying to attach strings to you. But we can't run forever. And at that, Nero's going to open the ammo box and pull both of the microbeads out.
Yes, but if you have strings, why not hold a scissor to them? Make the master panic.
Okay, so at this point, Nero's going to go up to the driver's seat and just talk to Warhound for a bit.
Is there like a observation?
You mean like a hatch
Like
at the top? Yeah.
Yeah,
Not really a
yes,
hatch, but like a periscope.
Bubble.
Yeah, well, there's a cupola which has like there are multiple like observation lenses around the cupola and also around the outside where the gun ports are. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, all you can see right now is just black and just speckled black passing past the view screens. Nero, when you go up to the cockpit, by the way, there is like a flashing red light that indicates there's like the tank has received a low priority text message from the ship for next time you return to it.
Okay, I check it.
Yeah, apparently somebody in Port Suffering has reached out to the ship. A person by the name of Mr. Quill has asked to meet with the Lord Captain when he returns to Port Suffering.
Does that
like
trigger anything?
No.
I don't recall that name.
Does he go by the code name Star-Lord?
Star-Lord, man. Legendary outlaw.
His first name Peter.
But yeah, it just has like, you know, this. I'll be here if you wish to contact me, or you know.
All right. I counter contact the ship to have them contact the Master of Whispers to get a profile on Mr. Quill before we let the Commodore anywhere near him.
Okay.
It's a really good
and I said in the message,
quote.
I expect him to have it done before we get back to Port Suffering.
Okay, no problem.
There's a really good Star-Lord quote, which is like 50% of the humanity in me might be stupid, but that's 100% of you.
The storm lasts about 20 minutes before it finally passes, and like it abates quite quickly. When everybody emerges from their transport / buildings, yeah, like everything is, because it is actually ash. Everything's been blackened by it. It's left marks on everything. It doesn't just pass through. And a lot of things like the outside of the Chimera has been slightly sandblasted as well, so it might need a bit of a touch up on the paint. You know, the Warhound logo has been slightly scratched off.
Nero's just making sure to scoop ash out of any, you know, intakes or something like that.
Yep. There's a bit of a hubbub going on around the area of the ritual site, like a lot of sisters are gathering. So because you were closer, Dawn and Adrian, when you guys emerge, the sisters are gathering around the fact that the way that the ash has fallen and settled on the dais where the cleansing took place, it has clearly marked out the sign of the Aquila. So it's the two-headed eagle that represents the symbol of the Imperium.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, like all the sisters are sort of, you know, are basing themselves, purporting this is definitely a sign of the God Emperor's favor. That they're, you know, this is a good sign, despite everything else that's happened. Nobody seems to have died or suffered any permanent injury from the ash storm. Everyone knew what to do to get inside. So you other two presumably see this as well when you emerge.
Yeah, Nero was just like, holy shit.
Yeah. You know, Adrian makes the sign of the Aquila and kind of gives Dawn the side eye a little bit. Like,
Is it like this?
It's like that, yeah.
I was that was just me being a dickhead.
Yeah. It's not that.
It's not butterfly. It's just the eagle.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh shit. Okay. Sometimes it just lands up in my brain, and I just like. So I mean, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to react to something like that. Obviously, it's, you know, Dawn has always felt that she is close to that stuff. I mean, like the healing rituals that she can commit, for example, have always been exceptional to that point. But you know, she doesn't feel any more enlightened than she did previously. So I don't think she would pay much attention to the extra attention that she might receive from something.
Yeah,
like
I'm guessing probably she doesn't associate it with her specifically. More about, you know, it's a good omen for the Abbey or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, exactly. Like now, this place has been, in whatever terms, visited.
Yeah, it's the you know, Catholic equivalent of a statue of the Virgin Mary crying, for example. You know, it's definitely, this is seen as a miracle, but miracles are not unknown in the Imperium. So everyone feels very especially blessed to have witnessed it, but it's not like suddenly people are converting their faith or the like. This sort of stuff does happen.
Yeah, right. But I mean, would definitely, with haste, probably try and find this other sister, the sister Vittoria.
Victoria. Yeah, like Victoria with no C.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So I would probably excuse myself from anyone that wants to talk at me for whatever reason and go find her.
Okay, no worries. So the other two, you find Adrian and you see Dawn heading off somewhere else.
Yeah.
Nero has some place to be.
Yeah, so this is like half an hour after sundown now. So people are starting to talk about, there was plans for an outside meal to go with the ritual, which has been pretty much ruined now. So they're trying to rework out their plans for an inside feast.
Is there like a balm or something that I use after this, or do I weather the burn?
You'd probably use some sort of, like a balm, or at least a moisturizer, something to prevent the skin from cracking.
And just out of curiosity, where am I burned now? Like hypothetically, like where would you think the burn would take place? I would add that to her, because previously it was just her hands that was burned. So
yeah, so probably further, like slightly further up the arms, into like the forearms. It's almost like what was that game where you get the corruption on the arm every time you die? Hell.
Fable.
So no, the one that the Viking, where the Celtic woman going into the Viking hell.
Sana or something.
Yeah, something. Yeah, like you know the one I mean anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but in that game, every time she dies, the corruption spreads throughout the arm. But except it doesn't, because it was a trick. Spoiler alert. Hellblade, thank you. Yeah, Hellblade, Sana's Senua's Sacrifice. That's it. Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. There we go.
Okay, I was partly right. I feel good. So yeah, okay. So it's probably like you could probably see it peeking out like around her neck or whatever now, or something, under her armor or whatever. So she would probably just like ointment, bandages, and then just like under the armor.
I love Gunny can suggest that there is a sister with Fran Drescher's accent directing everybody to move the meal inside.
Also Whoopi Goldberg as well. She's here too. Why not?
You realize that means that she is a traitor, right? Because in Sister Act, she wasn't an actual sister, correct? She was just pretending to be one.
Sure. I mean, that's
there
probably
is
a cool
one imposter
story.
among us.
Sus. So sus.
There's actually a real Polish person that got convicted of, I don't know, like Grand Theft Auto or something like that. And then when he got out of prison, he was given like a work direction to go work in like a milling factory or something like that, right? And he was like, no, I'm actually a preacher. And he wasn't. So he like lied about being a preacher, and then he had to like do like tons and tons of like Christian ceremonies and weddings and all that sort of stuff as this like fake preacher for like years and years. And he's just there. There's a movie about it and everything. It's kind of cool. Like some guy's just like, yeah, no, I don't want to break my spine working in a milling factory after I get out of prison. So I'm just gonna exactly like Whoopi Goldberg, 100%.
So, Dawn, you find Sister Vittoria in the scriptorium. It looks like effectively the abbey has shutters that can be closed to prevent dust or ash storms getting in, but they take a moment. So she's like trying to clean up anything which got knocked over by the wind or got dust on it. She's a young sister nun like yourself, dark haired. She has some sort of, you're not sure if it's like an augmentic, like cybernetic, or just a piece of equipment attached to the side of her head, which has like a number of different magnification lenses which can be moved in front of the eye, like cool. A monocle sort of thing. And she's carrying she's got like a large book chained to the belt on her waist as well, that's sort of hung from the belt as well. The book itself actually has like a padlock on it too to prevent it from being opened. But she looks up when you come in. Sister Dawn, Leteinia, correct?
Yes, I'm looking for Sister Vittoria. Do you happen to know where she is?
I'm Sister Dawn, Sister Vittoria of the Order of the Illuminated Page.
She'll give like a short curtsy, and she's like, I've been told to seek you out in regards to you having information on one Talon Balewing.
Yes, I was the one that did the research when we received the communication from your ship some months ago. I sent what I could at the time, but I've been able to compile some more information that may be pertinent. please come and sit, and I'll tell you what I was able to find.
She'll tenderly sit down.
Yep.
Everything's a little raw right now. Yeah.
Yes. And she pulls out like a data slate as well, and just to remind herself of some of the key details. She obviously hasn't committed it all to memory. Now, this Eldar belongs to a faction of Eldar that operates within the region of space known as the Jericho Reach, but they have been known also to enter the Koronus Expanse, which is interesting as it is. There are quite some distance between those two regions of space. One is over near the Ultima Cementium. The other is obviously out here. We understand that his name is mentioned in a tome that was recovered from the Omega Vault. And she's saying all this stuff like you know what she's talking about, by the way, like a tome known as the Derleth Lexicon. It relates to the study of the Dark Pattern, apparently a inquisitorial mystery being researched by a particular cabal of inquisitors that relates to that Jericho Reach. The Eldari there the Eldar there have been less antagonistic towards our kind than they usually have been known to be. I'm not sure if you're aware of the Eldar that call themselves Harlequins. They are a faction within their race that give themselves over to some sort of performance that they believe connects them with their profane god. The Imperium has encountered them on a number of occasions, both aggressively and not so. They seem to be the most willing to approach Imperial worlds out of their kind. And in some cases, they've appeared to, for whatever reasons, help Imperial worlds where some calamity may have been about to occur. They've turned the tide. Other times, though, they have outright attacked and killed our people. So it's hard to say where these Harlequins actually sit, but they are probably the one faction of the Eldar that we've had the least aggressive interaction with. And we believe that this faction of Eldar within the Jericho Reach is led by a Harlequin, something called a Shadow Seer, which appears to be something along the lines of their prophets or their psychers. I don't really know that too much about them. The Shadow Seer's name is, one second, Ailil Nuada. It's Aillill. Some strange Xenos name. Anyway, so we understand that this Talon Balewing was some sort of great warrior for this particular Eldar faction, who appears to have been captured by a group of, well, they call them Drukhari or Dark Eldar. They are, at first we believe them to be Eldar which serve the Chaos Gods, but it seems to be that in fact they are just sadomasochistic Eldar that seem to enjoy taking slaves, and there is a large faction of them operating within the Koronus Expanse. Now, this Talon Balewing is what's known as an autarch among the Eldar. So this is the Eldar seem to have this strange way of going through life where they change their vocation regularly, completely leaving their old vocation behind to go from being a warrior to being a poet or to being an artist or those sort of things. An autarch appears to have been an individual who has mastered multiple different what do you call it? Warrior
vocations?
styles. Yeah, well, particularly warrior vocations. So he would be considered to be a leader among their kind. They do refer to him regularly as a young prince or the young prince or the young king even, which seems to be some sort of prophetic role, which is interesting because that same tome I mentioned we recovered or was recovered from the vault also mentions a crippled king. And it seems to be that this crippled king and the young king have some form of predestined conflict or convergence. It's hard to say exactly what. The Derleth lexicon itself is written in riddle form. It's though it's being written in the past tense of an account of the future from somebody viewing the future from millennia in the past.
I'm having trouble understanding all of that, to be honest with you.
Yes. Unfortunately, the full Derleth lexicon is not stored here. We have excerpts from it, but the Death Watch maintain the only full copy of it in the Jericho Reach. Well, beyond that reach, obviously.
And is there anything in this lexicon or what you've read about where I could perhaps find this Talon Baywing location?
So, as I mentioned before, as far as we know, he's been captured by these Dark Eldar and is being held in some sort of Dark Eldar location, space station, city, I'm not sure, inside the Koronus Expanse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Perhaps if you were to seek those, I mean, I'm sure there are people in the Koronus Expanse who have more reason or more past trucking with these aliens than we would ever have here. Is it not true that your kind has also worked with the Death Watch, of the Ordo Xenos? Perhaps they would be.
I do believe that is something that the Lord Captain can look into. Whether or not this is important to him is a completely unrelated matter, I suppose.
Well,
I will talk to him about this. Would you be able to compile this information and allow me to take it to him?
Some information is controlled by the Imperium. I would have to seek permission from the Ordo Xenos to share some of it, but I'll share what I can for now. And perhaps we should correspond once you leave from here. As you learn more information, you can share it with me. I'll add it to the archives. And if anything you tell me about triggers some connection to other information I haven't previously shared, I'll happily share more within the limitations of what my role, obviously.
One other question. Is there anything related to Talon Balewing and maybe like a spiraling tower or anything of that nature?
Spiraling tower. That, I mean, once again, these books aren't big on the they're very much like this happens. They're not really very descriptive. So I think that visual. It's unfortunately this particular insane prophet didn't draw any pictures in his lexicon. So not that comes to mind straight away. But there are stories of cities of metal, but the cities of metal seem to pertain more to the crippled king rather than to the young king.
I see. Well, it might be worth investigating that matter as well, since those seem to, as you said, have some sort of conflict predetermined between them.
Indeed.
Well, I thank you for your time. I appreciate all the work you've done, and yes, we will continue to correspond.
Very good. I look forward to updating my archives. She wanders off with that sort of.
Yeah. I was about to say, like, we both just kind of like about face and go the opposite direction.
There's no goodbye. She just gets up, she just walks off and starts doing something else now. It's like this conversation is over.
The one situation we don't end up going the same direction after an end of conversation.
Nero.
Yep.
Do you still go through the plan to meet with Sister Superior tomorrow?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So you're directed towards like the specific abbey building that belongs to Dawn's Order, the Order Famulus. And certainly among the various sisters here, as you walk through the Famuli halls, they are the most disjointed group insofar as like all the other sisters very much wear the same robes of their order, the same coloring. The orders, the sisters of this particular Famuli order are very eclectic in their styles. Some barely are recognizable as sisters. They look more like nobles or imperial servants. Others are very much up on the sort of the nun look, like Miriam always was. But yeah, they're a very sort of eclectic bunch. And you are taken to a meeting room along with a sister who looks to be probably in her early 60s. She doesn't look like she's ever really seen battle. You would classify her look as soft. She is probably a little bit on the overweight side as well. Just looks like someone who is used to working behind a desk, translating orders, translating information.
Nero doesn't
with
believe that
nobles.
shit for a second. This
Sorry?
woman is a killing machine. They don't make you sister superior because you don't know how to work on the battlefield.
Yeah. She looks up as the door is opened for you by one of her servants. Is that you must be the Lord Commodore's, or sorry, the Lord Captain's Master of Ordnance, yes?
Yes.
Please, come in and have a seat. Could I get you some wine?
No, thank you.
Tea? Water?
Water, please.
She signals, and the servant goes away and comes back with some ice water and a wine for her. Now, thank you for responding to my invitation. I wanted to ask you, I understand that you spent a lot of time with Sister Miriam during her short foray with your Lord Captain's ship.
It was not
Could
that
you
short.
tell me? Sorry?
It was not that short. And
Well,
yes.
About it was a year plus some time spent on a planet, I believe. Well, less some time spent on a planet outside of your care.
I suppose we have different views of the world.
Sister Miriam, of course, is in a probationary position in her current role. I would like you to give me your account of her. I received the commendation you sent, obviously, but I wanted to speak more with you about. I understand that she's helped broker your own contribution to the genetic legacy of the Calixis sector. And I wanted to simply, in your own words, tell me about how she has comported herself as a servant of the God Emperor in your eyes.
As a servant of the God Emperor, Miriam has raised herself to every challenge presented to her. I found her proselytizing to lost sheep to be effective, and she managed to turn several to our cause, including my own. Nero doesn't really know where to call Cade like his adopted son, or like his
Ward,
mini
protege.
bodyguard, or like killer in training. He just actually stops and doesn't know how to continue.
His psychic
The
shield.
bullet part two.
This all sounds very positive. Has Miriam involved herself in the Lord Captain's or your affairs to a degree which has ever made you feel uncomfortable?
I cannot speak for the Lord Captain.
I'm asking if
She involved
if you-
herself in my affairs insofar as I was at the end of our long arc of relationship. I did feel an intense discomfort, if only because it was for the donation of genetic material.
But you wouldn't use words like prying, curious, conspiratorial to describe Miriam's actions, would you?
Oh shit! I can't lie to this woman, huh?
Maybe that's why she's Sister Superior.
Yeah, there it is. It's because she can see right through my bullshit. All right,
That's right.
How do I say this without snitching on Miriam?
She's got like that long like rattan cane on the desk, so in case she needs to whip your knuckles for lying.
I mean, I'll just kill her. But I don't want to is the thing.
And that's how we had to get AP a new character.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I could just kill her and get in the Chimera before anybody figures it out. We live in a spaceship that goes beyond their reach.
Up in the vents.
Yeah, outside of the vents.
The ghost that haunts the abbey of Nero the Blade.
No, I live in the spaceship vents. I'm going to organize all the mutants in the Darkhold into a new army. He says, Miriam has not, in my experience, been prying. In fact, attempting to get anything out of her beyond basic functionality was a strain. However, in her function as a member of our ecclesiarchal representative for a time, and as a advisor to the Lord Captain, she did have the capability to foresee and advise us on a web of conspiracy we had been involved in.
And did she? Or are you saying that she had the opportunity but didn't take it, or that she did take it?
She saw the danger that we were in and informed us of it. She did not engage in conspiratorial acts. She informed us of a growing danger.
She like makes some notes on a bit of paper in High Gothic. Did you want to, are you looking over, or are you just sitting back?
Does it seem appropriate, right?
So you're not that great with human perception, but you're guessing that one of the reasons she's writing High Gothic is because she's assuming you don't understand it. So you get the impression she's writing something down, but she's doing it in a way that, because most people don't make notes in High Gothic. High Gothic's a very formal language,
right?
It's like so she's doing it so that you can't read. She's doing it to hide information from you, basically.
Well, I mean, if she's trying to hide it from me, then of course I want to know. So Nero will lean forward across the desk and say, there was one thing I wanted to add, while he's quickly scanning the notes upside down.
Okay, no worries. So she's pretty much written, refer Miriam back to Inquisition, further cleansing may be required, sort of thing.
That's very sad. I don't know that I want her to not be cleansed, though. Right? Because we've heard that she's a danger. Like a very serious danger, and that this was done for her good.
I mean,
what would the Lord Captain do?
It was mind cleansed or executed was pretty much the options previously.
Yeah.
So.
And I'll feel bad knowing that the next time we see Miriam, it will basically be a totally different person. But
what would the Lord Captain do?
Jesus, I don't know. Pondo, what would the Lord Captain do? The Lord Captain literally stepped in and made me like the option to have a harem now, okay? So his actions can be somewhat erratic to me. Would you like to tell me what
living vicariously through you? That's his story.
Let me ask you out of character, Pondo, do you want to keep Miriam Prime around, who is actually Miriam the Third, I believe?
Oddly enough, Pierre's not had much, if not at all, interaction with Miriam, except for the occasion of like, hey, you're a special boy.
Yes.
Now we need your gene seed.
So the only thing I can say to this whole problem is that Miriam, to some extent, has been willing to divulge information about events that transpired previously, or at least attempt to find out information as to why her memory was removed in the first place to our benefit. So
she's made a comment about to the fact that she sees a conspiracy going on within these halls, and that while she knows she should look into it, she will, and she'll pass the information back because that conspiracy relates.
Oh, you're right. She did say that. Was Nero around for that conversation?
Yes, she was actually.
I think it was
you about it.
Shit,
you
that's
and
true.
I think it was
specifically
myself
you and
you.
Don.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she spoke to me first about it, and then she spoke to you about it. I can't remember what
it was both of you at the same time. I was left out.
Was
of
it? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I felt excluded. In business about me.
There was definitely like, and she might have considered like, because there was like a question arose as to why I was selected by her, because she couldn't remember exactly why she selected me in the first place to be the representative here. Something about my name stuck out to her, if I remember the conversation correctly.
All right, look, I'm not trying to go brick here, but this is really tough because on one hand, if people are like, this information is forbidden and the Inquisition should deal with it, Nero is like automatically going to be like, well, the Inquisition says it's so, let's do it. On the other hand, Miriam is literally like, there's a conspiracy within the Inquisition that's coming for you. Oh, shit.
I mean, there is a giant cabal of Inquisitors that are trying to, puppet master our Lord Captain.
Here's the thing. What she's looking into is trying to, or going to, or was going to. Let's look up as to why I can't do my thing. If she gets cleansed, she can't do that. So
yeah. All right, motherfuckers. I'm about to go hot. So Nero puts a hand on her paper and begins crumpling it up. Pulls it across the table, and he says, about that one thing. I'm sure you know who I work for, and that this person has considerable influence, and that we have many friends within the Inquisition who outrank you considerably. The Lord Commodore, not the Lord Captain, has taken a great liking to Miriam. Now, this is total bullshit as far as he's concerned, but... and would prefer her personality to stay intact so that she can act as his representative here. His liaison, because he likes her. Meeting new people is difficult for him. I'm sure you can understand when a man sees so many millions of people on a regular basis. So he would like Miriam to remain here, intact. As Nero is like balling up the paper, and he's like using his full strength to do it, and he's doing it really menacingly, and he says, I'm sure you can understand what might happen if the Lord Commodore, he would say Lord Commodore, if the Lord Commodore was disappointed in this. There are so many Inquisitors that owe him a favor.
So she does look genuinely terrified of Nero. It's like she looks like, an old woman who's been driving a car and someone who looks like Nero's come and tapped on a window.
Okay, good, because I thought this was going to go a totally different way.
No. Yeah. She's not what you're used to with the sisters. She's generally, you've physically intimidated her, and she is definitely intimidated. So,
I don't know that he's trying to physically intimidate her, though. Like, balling up her paper, he's trying to make that seem really scary, but it's literally just a person who took a piece of paper off the desk.
Like that schoolyard bully that's just ripped up the kids, the nerds' homework.
For once, he's not bristling with weapons. What he's trying to intimidate her with is like, you misnamed our Lord Commodore, and he's more powerful than you, and he has a lot of friends that can crush you instantly. This is Nero trying to play politics in the most blunt way possible.
Because she's an older woman, I just imagine her like she spent a long time selecting the perfect type of paper that she would write on at her desk.
Yeah.
Or either that, or it's like some sort of scented paper or something like that, and it was very important to her. And you destroying it was like destroying a part of herself.
Nero's gonna stand up and loom over the desk and say, Sister Superior Samara, for some reason you have assumed... Oh, he's speaking in High Gothic as well.
Yep.
You have assumed that a Baron of the Imperium does not speak our superior tongue. You have insulted me, you have insulted the Hand of Calixis, you have insulted the Lord Commodore. You will carry out his wishes in regards to leaving Miriam as she is. We will check up on her on regular intervals. I thank you for this meeting, though. Now I have a face to place to the name. I'm sure that the history of my service lets you know exactly how dangerous I am, and the lengths I will go to make sure that imperial justice is carried out.
She, like, sort of very nervously takes a very long sip of her wine. It's like for a bit of courage. And of course, I apologize for any insult.
Your apology is accepted. I will wait here for you to finish filling out your orders. And so he enters like a parade rest and makes it very clear he's going to watch her write down what she's going to do.
Yeah, okay. So it's, I mean, she basically just writes Miriam to return to regular duties.
You will personally see to it that Miriam is given freedom of communication with our organization, Sister Superior Samara.
Yes, of course.
I thank you for your time. Such wonderful water you have here. Delightful ceremonies. As soon as Nero's out the door, he's like, "Oh my god!
Yeah,
oh
my God. She finally takes a breath as well after you leave the room as well. Yeah.
I can't believe I went to bat for Miriam. Jesus."
All right. So I think that probably that's it for that night, unless anyone wants to do anything else that evening.
I mean, I know that we don't often inform each other of the secret bullshit that occurs to us, but Nero will 100% campfire with everybody and let them know that, you know, he just basically bodily threatened a pretty high-ranking member of the ecclesiarchy on Miriam's behalf.
Everyone gets a text, Chimera 5 minutes.
Yeah, Chimera 5 minutes. We're going back to the Chimera, guys.
There's a tear coming out of Lord Captain's eye. We've done well. And I've got a brilliant idea for a shirt. What would the Lord Commodore do?
Nero's just like, absolute genius, sir. I will have it printed out as soon as we get back. You should know that on our trip tomorrow to Port Suffering, there is a man who wishes to meet with you, Mr. Quill. There is little else information on him yet, but I have tasked our Master of Whispers with investigating them.
So almost on cue, you get a data packet sent to you from the Hand of Calixis.
All right, now you open it up. Better have Nokul Coral's name on it.
It does, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So apparently this Mr. Quill, which is his actual first name is not known, is a representative of an organization called the Amaranthine Syndicate. They are in many ways similar to the Casbalica in that they are a criminal organization that gets away with a lot. Effectively, they legally they come across they're a trade cartel. So effectively, they just broker trade agreements throughout the Calixis Expanse, the Calixis sector. They have a lot of dealings in less than legal areas, but they're big enough and clever enough to keep themselves from actually getting, arrested and prosecuted. So there's no sort of like...
Well, I mean, the difference between them and the Casbalica is the Casbalica doesn't operate in the Imperium, right?
Exactly right, yeah. So these guys are a group which operates within the Imperium and gets away with... They probably get away with a bit, but they're also... they probably pay a lot of bribes.
I'm going to double check this guy against my data slot of wanted bounties. Just make sure
he's not wanted. No,
okay.
in fact,
right,
the Amaranthine Syndicate does a very good job of keeping itself off the wanted list. In fact, anybody who comes across as wanted, it's always they've been expelled from the organization prior, and suddenly whatever protections they had disappear.
All right, so I just pass the slate over to the Lord Commodore and say, "You want to meet with this individual?"
I suppose so. He's come some sort of interest in me.
That interest
well
will
see
almost
why.
certainly be economic and criminal in nature.
We'll see if it's criminal or not.
Okay, I sent Noko Coral another message indicating that he met my minimum possible quality of standards and to get us information about Stern Hope.
Oh, yes.
You know, like
Okay.
best overland path plus don't get eaten by the lava lizards, you know, shit like that. Like, I don't want to roll up there and James be like, well, okay, well, you're eaten by a sandworm and now we're doing a chimera and a sandworm adventure.
So before we go on the break, I'll say you will get back a message from him saying that Stern Hope was a settlement which was established about 15 years ago. So effectively, like, remember, the Imperial settlement here is really limited to Port Suffering.
Yep.
But there were various attempts by groups to establish other Imperial settlements on the planet. So effectively, an abbot or mission abbot tried to form a community that could then also work the land other than just the natives, built around a cathedral. Apparently there was some sort of calamity there about 12 years ago that resulted in the settlement effectively being abandoned. It's understood that what's on the public record is basically that the mission abbot went mad and tried to kill his own flock, and was killed in the process, and the locals decided to give up and leave and head back to Port Suffering or other places after it happened.
Okay. We good for the break then?
Yeah, I think we are.
We'll be back for the second half shortly. Stick around. What the hell's going to happen? I don't know. It's been a weird episode for Nero. Threatening old women. There's really a lot coming down in life.